Hey, hello, hi everybody. This is Dr. Ken Muich, Fibromyalgia Wellness Center and Stetson Chiropractic Clinic. I just got finished with a cute little Halloween party for some of the youngest grandchildren in our family, and so consequently I am dressed like this for two reasons. One, because of the activities, and two, because I need this to show you some exercises we're going to be doing, believe it or not, for something really, really, again, important for everybody, and that's posture and the consequences of forward head posture. You know, between the cell phones and everything else that's going on, computers are just causing all sorts of problems as far as forward head posture. You know, this is my favorite form of holidays, Halloween, that leads right into the rest of the holidays. And so it can be a lot of fun. But if you have postural and problems with your posture where your head is forward, it can turn into a real problem as far as not only strokes but cardiovascular problems and all sorts of other health problems, respiratory problems, so forth. So Halloween can be also an answer to actually taking some answers to reverse some of the problems that you're having. And so here we go. Now, there was a study that was done in London, believe it or not, where it was a 20-year study, and they studied 4,200 men between the ages of 40 and 60, and there was a strong correlation between forward head posture and early mortality, believe it or not, because a forward head posture, among other things, as I mentioned, can cause cardiovascular problems, respiratory problems, and stroke. And so these are real problems. Hi, Carrie. Thank you very much for joining us, that's for sure. And so these problems can actually be neutralized or actually, and many times reversed, regardless of your age, but also it depends upon the severity of your forward head posture. When I say forward head posture, that means your head is in front of your shoulders. Now, I'm constantly fighting this because my head is constantly down, working with patients. I'm constantly doing reports, again, computers, but there's answers to those things. And if you don't take care of them, they're just going to get worse and worse. You know, I work with, again, obviously a lot of fibromyalgia patients, but anybody that has chronic health problems, anybody whatsoever, make sure that you check your posture, because this can also add on to the problems that you're having. You know, between the stresses and strains of everyday life and everything we're going through, I get the woe is me type thing where your head is forward and your shoulders roll forward and so forth. All of those things are problematic, really, and we need to review these to make sure you know exactly how bad these can be. Now, there's a number of research studies that have been done. Mayo Clinic said that forward head posture can cause a lot of long-term problems. They can cause a lot of long-term problems as far as disc herniations and pinched nerves and so forth. That's from Mayo Clinic. Then, let's see, there's a lot of research in different studies have been done. Kapanji, physiology of joints. For every inch forward your head is forward, head posture, it adds a 10-pound weight, just like on your chin, and pulls down. 10 pounds, because the weight of your head is between 8 and 12 pounds. So this averaging 10. So every inch your head is forward. Now, when I say forward, that means, and I'm going to cover this just a little bit, that your ear should be even with your shoulder. If it's forward like this and so forth, you might as well add 10 pounds or more, depending upon the severity of the curvature of your neck is concerned. There's a number of Nobel Prize winners. Alf Bragg said a loss of cervical curve stretches your spinal cord 5 to 7 centimeters. That's unbelievable. But the most important one of the Nobel Prize winners was Dr. Roger Sperry, who he does brain research, and again, Nobel Prize winner. And he said that 90% of your brain is just in effect to keep you upright, just to keep you upright. Believe it or not. Only 10% is for thinking, metabolism, and immune function. So if your head is forward, your body is constantly fighting itself to stay upright, and that leaches information that you could use for thinking, metabolism, and healing. Rene Callier, very, very famous individual, director of Department of Physical Medicine at University of Southern California, says that for every inch your head is forward, it pulls on the entire spine. it actually causes a 30% reduction in VO2 max, which is your oxygen. Now, you might not think that's important, but it is. Why? Because your brain lives on two things, and I've mentioned this before: sugar and oxygen. And so I believe, as a lot of scientists also and doctors believe, that early dementia and so forth is actually being caused by poor posture. Because when you cut off your VO2 max, when you cut off your oxygen, it also cuts off a lot of nutrients and so forth to your brain. Also, your entire gastrointestinal system is affected, believe it or not. You don't have good bowel movement, so a lot of people actually have problems. Hello, Shelley. Have a lot of problems as far as evacuation is concerned. Not only that, but because of all of this, your body's creation of its normal pain sensors to reduce or neutralize pain, endorphins, is actually reduced, believe it or not. So just with your head forward, it causes, that's why all these other problems, not only your oxygen intake, cardiovascular, VO2 max, the gastrointestinal problems, but also your body's ability to fight pain through the production of endorphins, just because your head is forward. And so you have to understand that you really need to do things. Now, we've worked with people everywhere from, I'd say, the late 20s into the 70s and 80s, and we've been able to actually help people neutralize the possibility of getting worse, and many times, if they're young enough, to actually change their postural deviations, usually within about 90 days. Really simple things, though. Now, the thing is that the problems are that most of us that work actually sit around 13 hours a day, believe it or not, 13 hours a day. So one of the things that you have to do is get up and stretch and walk and so forth, so that you can increase your VO2 max a little bit. That's very, very important. Now, for those people like those that I work with, fibromyalgia, and a lot of the people that you have as far as illness and so forth, really diseases, I know that might be a problem. But just getting up out of the chair oftentimes can make a big difference. Just getting up out of the chair, make it, let's say, no more than 2 hours in the seat. Get up and do something. Walk around. Try to do everything you possibly can to get yourself moving a little bit. The most important thing, I think, of all of these is you can check yourself, or if somebody can just, if you can look at a full-length mirror, okay, stand with your feet apart and take a look and see where your head is. Is it in the middle of the body? Look, here's a good center line right here. And so is my head in the middle of the body? Or is it tilted one side or the other? Are my shoulders relatively straight across? That's another thing. That's very, very important. How about your hands? When you drop your hands to your side, are the fingertips relatively close to each other as far as lengthwise? And also, are the thumbs pointed forward? See, as your head goes forward, your shoulders also roll forward. And so when that happens, you're going to be more susceptible to, believe it or not, shoulder injuries. Remember the sits muscle, the muscles that usually are injured when you reach in back of you for something, okay? If your shoulders are already rotated forward and you go to reach for something, good chances you're going to possibly injure one of the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, or subscapularis, the sits muscles, those things, the rotator cuff muscles that are most commonly injured. So just by looking in a mirror, or have somebody take a picture of you standing upright and take a look at it. Check all of those things. Also take a picture sideways. We call it lateral. Okay, where's your head at? Is your head near your shoulders? Is your head and your ear? Check your ear in relationship to your shoulder. Okay, if every inch is forward from that, it's like, again, taking a 10-pound weight. Patients come in, and they're talking about all sorts of different problems and so forth. If you have back problems, your erector muscles start in the back and go all the way up. Many of them attach into the base of the skull. You have 7 layers of erector muscles that keep you upright. And if you're constantly hunched over, you're taking those muscles and you're stretching them, okay? And so they tighten up. No wonder you're having problems, okay? Because your head is forward. I always jokingly say, but very, very truthfully, your head is like a bowling ball on a stick, okay? And it is. Bowling balls are 8 to 12 pounds, okay? And that stick is your cervical spine. And so the more strain and pressure you put on it, the worse it is. Now, if you've had an auto accident, if you've had various other things that have occurred, slips and falls when you're a child, fall down, fall out of trees, you name it. You might have already messed up things as far as your structure is concerned. The spine has normal curves. You've got a curve in the neck, you got a curve in the mid back, got a curve in the low back. And if those curves are gone, okay, it's not impossible to return some of them. It's not impossible unless you've had surgery or some other things, some other conditions that might inhibit that. But you can correct things or at least minimize further damage. Now, some of the other things. Sleeping. What's a good sleep position? Well, the best one is actually on your back. And if need be, put a pillow under your knees for a little support. Second one is on your side. Either side will do. But that's the second one. The third, and probably starting to have problems, is in a fetal position where you're on your side, but your knees are pushed up and so forth. That's really not a good position. The worst position as far as for posture is concerned is one in which you actually are on your stomach, because that really puts a lot of stress and strain on your back and your necks and those curves. Remember those curves I just mentioned, okay? So all those are important. Video displays. If you have to work on a computer, make sure that you have a good chair. Make sure your feet reach the ground. I had a patient one time who came in and her legs were numb and so forth. She was in her late 20s, early 30s, and she was talking about numbness in the lower extremities. So he did all the different tests and everything on her. Couldn't find anything wrong with her as far as really structurally. And so I started asking further questions. And lo and behold, she told me that, yeah, she has a difficult time. She has to put her feet up, so forth and so on, because her feet do not reach the ground from her chair. And the chair was not one that you could adjust right away. I knew the problem was. It was cutting off circulation in the back of the legs that go down into her feet. So we strongly suggested at work that she get one. And lo and behold, bingo, her problem disappeared very, very quickly. Your head should be almost at a level, and when you look at your computer, of the horizon. It shouldn't be too far down, too far up, so forth and so on. Should be right in front of you. Should not be looking to the left or to the right while you're working at your desk as far as the computer is concerned. And again, the chair should be, like I say, flexible, so it goes up and down, so forth and so on. Just some minor things that, but are major as far as those people that work a lot on the computer. And if you're having problems, even that, you can have the perfect workstation, you have perfect everything, but there's a time limit, okay? You can be on a computer too long. Even myself, all of a sudden I look around and say, whoa, geez, I've been on this thing for a couple hours. I better get up. So if you have an egg timer, set it at an hour. And when it goes off, even if you get up, walk around your chair and sit back down again, that really is a wonderful thing for you to do. That breaks that monotony as far as your body is concerned, being in one position. Can make a big difference, that's for sure. Exercises. Here we go. Just have a few more minutes. There's 3 exercises that you can do, and that's why I'm wearing a shirt, so that you can see certain things on my body. The first one is for a correction of the posture. Okay, bring your head back. Is say the letter N and leave your tongue there. N. Just by leaving your tongue on top of your palate is actually going to relax these muscles, the platysma and sternocleidomastoid and a variety of other ones that go from here all the way down, and they attach onto these things, clavicles they're called, okay? With your head forward all the time, those muscles shorten. So I have people, when I do range of motion, say, okay, look up, and I go, oh, like that. They'll have to lean back in their chair and they can't even look up. Why? Well, many of them, because these muscles are so short and tight, okay, that they can't raise their head up. So the first thing you got to do is get these muscles start relaxing. Just by keeping your tongue in that position on the palate is actually going to start relaxing these muscles to allow you to get your head back where it belongs. Very interesting, right? That's simple. I mean, how can you forget that, right? Now, you might say, well, how am I going to remember it with the tongue all the time, okay? Okay, if you do this even for 2-3 days, the tongue is what's called a cranial nerve. Now, if you don't know what that means the things that you take for granted, like vision, like your tongue moving, smiling, okay, hearing. All those are cranial nerves, the things you take for granted, okay? Do you have to think to see? Do you have to think to hear? Do you have to think to talk or move your mouth or swallow and so forth? All those things. Same thing with your tongue. So if you put your tongue in that position even for a couple of minutes a day, all of a sudden after a couple of days, your tongue's going to automatically go there, believe it or not. So try that. Here's the other 2 exercises. Very, very easy. Okay, first one is, I just call it the half chicken pluck, and not aggressively. Don't do any of these aggressively, okay? You want to tuck your chin slightly, pull back, and release. Pull back and release. I'm going to show you sideways. Hope you can see this. Good. Pull back, release. Pull back, release. Pull back, release. That's it. 10 twice a day. How many did I say? 10 twice a day to start. Don't be like the guy that came in to my clinic. I gave him the exercises. He came back a couple days later. He says, my neck is killing me. And I said, well, let me take a look and see. It shouldn't be hurting you. And so I'm asking a couple of the questions. I said, well, how many are you doing? I'm doing as many as I can. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your body responds like eating an apple, a bite at a time, okay? You're not going to get this done in 24 hours, okay? So just by doing 10 twice a day, okay? After a couple of weeks, feel comfortable about it? Go up to 15 twice a day, so forth and so on. I'm telling you, I take pictures before, in the middle, and after. And within 60 to 90 days, a lot of people, you wouldn't believe how easy it is that you can do this. Okay. Hey, that feels better than I thought. Great. Wait, Shelley. So I hope everybody saw that. Make sure. Can you see? Okay. What? Put your finger here. Stand in front of a mirror if you have to. Pull back, release. Pull back, release. It's not like this. Not like that. Look. I call it like a half a chicken pluck. Here, release. Here, release. You're not going back and forth hard like that. Pull back, release. Pull back, release. Pretty simple. Now, the third one, so you could do those two at a red light with the tongue and with the neck. Even if you look funny in a car, don't worry about it. Okay? They might say, who is that? All right, the third one, last one. Okay. Now, that's why I'm wearing this shirt. What you want to do is stand. You have to stand for this. I'm not going to do it. You want your thumbs pointed forward on your sides. You want to roll your arms back as far as you can. Stick your chest out and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Stick your chest out, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Chest out, squeeze your shoulder blades. Chest out. So your thumbs are going to be almost pointed backwards, believe it or not. Okay, as far as you can. Keep your arms close to your body. You're not a pterodactyl or a bird. You're not trying to fly. Just got your arms as close as you can to your body. Okay, and you should feel it here. You should feel it up here. Okay, this is your pectoralis muscles, and you want to feel it where it attaches, way up here. Okay, and you want to squeeze your shoulder blades together like you're trying to pick up a nickel or a dime. Hi, Joelle. How you doing? Happy day. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze. How many did I say? 10 twice a day. 10 twice a day. 10 twice a day. No more than that to get started. Okay? So you should feel the muscles pull back here. Okay? And you should feel your muscles in the back tighten up. The better your muscles are in between your shoulder blades, that's going to actually also help pull your shoulders back. Plus, what you're doing is what? You're increasing your VO2 max. You're increasing your oxygen into your chest so that you can breathe much better. And for women, believe it or not, it actually helps keep the breasts up, believe it or not. Many of the women, as they mature, between leaning forward like this, okay, that allows these pectoralis muscles to actually sag, and everything else sags. So this is really going to be an uplifting sensation for, and even men. I mean, you know, you get those sags and so forth. So try that. 10 twice a day. When you feel this up in front, and you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Make sure you do that. Don't just move your shoulders and so forth without doing it. Squeeze them. Make them feel. Squeeze them. Very, very important, okay? So that's the gist of this, okay? The idea is that there are things that you can do to either neutralize or even improve what you're going on to. And believe me, when I say this, is that, you know, those pains that you have down necks down into the fingers and arms and so forth, a lot of those are because your head is forward and you're squeezing the nerves that come out of the neck over here, okay? So you have like a sciatica of the arms, okay? And so you don't need to do that. So remember, pull back, okay? This will save a lot of discomfort for you, a lot of chiropractic visits, so forth and so on. I do that. But for those people that have a lot of problems, health problems, thank you for all the love and everything. You guys are great. I have wonderful following, and I love each and every one of you. Anything I can do that I can help makes a big difference. I really, really, really appreciate that. One last thing. Boy, I wait too long. Sorry about that. It takes too much time. Along with these, you might want to try some balance exercises. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe talk about that maybe next time, how you can help yourself with balance exercises. Because as we mature, we have problems as far as standing upright. And even after accidents, especially auto accidents, really throws yourself off, really does. And for anybody that's having health problems, balance is extremely important. If you've been in bed, if you've been off your feet, not exercising and so forth, I can guarantee that your balance is off and you're just waiting. You're looking for a reason to fall into a wall or fall down on the ground, and you don't want to do that. Anyway, this is Dr. Ken Muich, Fibromyalgia Wellness Center, Stetson Chiropractic Clinic, saying thank you very, very much. And for those that like myself, that are crazy, happy Halloween. Have a wonderful. Hey, we'll see you next Monday, 12:30. Again, sorry if I took so much time. Very, very important subject if you want to stay healthy. Thank you. Have a great day. And each one of these are saved. So this is number 39. Next one will be 40. So the next time, again, if you want to go back and check Fibromyalgia Wellness Center and check all the other, this one plus the other 38 included with it, please help yourself. Thank you, thank you. Love all you guys. And thanks for allowing me to be part of your life and actually helping you with your health. Bye-bye now.